Hello and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I am Rainbow.
And it's nice that you're all back here for part 2 of our Building Character unit. This month, we've been meeting and learning about a young girl named Ellen. And Rainbow, I think it's safe to say that when we first met her, Ellen wasn't exactly what you would call a confident person, right?
That's right. Ellen was never really happy about herself in any way. She thought she looked bad and she was embarrassed when she looked in the mirror. And this made her feel just useless.
Yeah, not only that, she also thought that if she couldn't get the top grades in all her classes at school, then that also somehow meant that she was a bad person.
Terrible.
And so when she just got average grades, well, this added to her feeling of being useless.
And don't forget that even though she was a kind person who liked to help her friends and classmates, somehow inside she just felt that, she kept making things worse. And I'm sure that wasn't totally true.
And besides, at least she was trying to help her friends, right? A lot of other people might not try at all. But then something happened to help Ellen see herself in a new light, to look at herself in a new way, and maybe even realize that, she wasn't so bad after all.
That's right. She gave a speech in one of her classes at school, and everybody thought that she had done a great job, although she thought she did really badly.
Yeah, no, she had done a great job, and everyone in the class cheered for her and said how great she'd done, and her teacher also told her what a great speech it was. So, good for Ellen. But will it be enough to help her see things in a different way? Hopefully, but we'll find out for sure in today's article.
But before we begin reading, let's check out all of our new vocabulary right now. 第二天的文章讲到我们的主角 Ellen 遇到了一个称赞她的老师，鼓励她的老师，在那个之后让她的想法逐渐改变。我们先来看几个单字，第一个 perfect， 完美的是个形容词。Nobody is perfect, but you can try your best. Nobody is perfect, but you can try your best. 没有人是完美的，但你可以尽力而为。第二个单字 surprise 是个动词。You really surprised me today. You really surprised me today. 你今天真的让我感到非常惊讶。第三个单字 realize 领悟明白是个动词。I realized we're actually not that different. I realized we're actually not that different. 我发现我们两个其实没有那么的不一样。最后一个单字 confident 自信的是个形容词。You're the most confident person I know. You're the most confident person I know. 你是我认识的人其中最有自信的人。好了，我们现在看完单字例句，一起回到课文中。
Ellen didn't understand. Her speech wasn't perfect, and she pointed out the mistakes to her teacher. In response, her teacher pointed out everything right about her speech. That surprised Ellen. It also made her see herself in a different way. That day, she realized some things. Before, she thought her classmates didn't like her, but they actually did.
Explanation 1.
Okay, so it's time for us to jump into part 2 of our article. And as we begin, it looks like today, we pick up right where we left off yesterday at the end of the article. Ellen has just finished her speech, a speech that she thought wasn't very good at all. And her classmates, they're clapping for her. And the teacher is telling her how well she did. So, as we begin reading today, it says, Ellen didn't understand. She's still very confused about why everyone is so happy about her speech.
So Ellen is doing what she normally does. She's focusing on all the bad things. And it says her speech wasn't perfect. And she pointed out the mistakes to her teacher. Oh, I did this wrong. This wasn't good. Oh, I don't like this. So that's Ellen being Ellen, focusing on all the bad stuff.
And we'll see what everyone else was focusing on after we get Daphne to explain our first grammar point to us. So let's go and do that now.
大家好，我是 Daphne。今天的第一则文法是 point out， 意思是指出。point 是及物动词，意思是指。out 是副词，意思是出来。point out 就是指出来。例如 Ivy pointed out some mistakes in the book。Ivy 指出这本书中的几个错误。
So Ellen thought her speech was bad, but no one else in the classroom did. And when she started to point out all of the things that she thought she did wrong, her teacher had something else to say. As we begin reading again, it says, in response, her teacher pointed out everything right about her speech. 在这边加个补充单词 response 反应回馈 in response 这个片语就是在形容发生了一件事情以后另外一方的反应或是回应 all of the good things that she said in the speech all of the good things about how she was talking. In other words, all of the good things that Ellen just forgot about or ignored about herself.
And since Ellen never thought about herself in this good way, since she was all too busy criticizing herself, we read, that surprised Ellen.
And it also had a very sudden and powerful effect on her. The story says it also made her see herself in a different way. Well, good. It's time she did that. And also time she gave herself a break and stopped only focusing on the bad things that she did. Okay, it's time for us to focus on grammar again. So now we're going to go to Daphne to tell us about the second grammar point.
第二则文法是 in a different way， 意思是以不同的方式。in 是介系词，意思是以用。different 是形容词，意思是不同的。way 是名词，意思是方式。in a different way。字面意思就是以不同的方式，是副词片语，使用的时候通常摆在句子的尾巴。例如 Jill solved the problem in a different way. Jill 用不同的方式解决了这个问题。
So, after her classmates and her teacher all had such a good reaction to Ellen's speech, well, this made Ellen open her eyes and look at herself in a much healthier and happier way. She was good at certain things, and she didn't need to criticize herself all the time either.
And that's not all. We keep reading. That day, she realized some things. Before, she thought her classmates didn't like her, but they actually did. Well, yes, I thought so. I mean, yesterday we read about how she was always trying to help them. Ellen thought that she just ended up making things worse than she did, but her friends did not feel that way. They thought she was a good and kind person.
And that's another important lesson for her to really take to heart, to really believe.
Yes.
Okay, let's pause one more time for our final grammar point from that last sentence.
第三则文法是 before 的三种用法。第一，当时间副词，意思是过去、以前，使用的时候通常摆在句子的尾巴。例如Ruben was never late before. Ruben 以前从来不迟到。第二 ，before 可以用来当连接词，用来连接两个完整的子句，主词加动词，意思是在点点点前。例如 ，Trisha washed her hands before she had dinner. Trisha 吃晚餐前先洗手。第三 ，before 可以当介系词。 后方接时间名词，意思是在点点点前。例如 Toby took a bath before bedtime. Toby 睡前泡了澡。
Okay, it looks like it's time for us to take our break right now, but we'll be back to finish off the article in just a moment.
Ellen also learned it's okay to make mistakes because nobody's perfect. She felt more confident about herself after that. What's more, she stopped looking down on herself.
Explanation 2.
Welcome back, everyone. So Ellen is starting to look at herself in a new light. She's realizing that she is much better than she thought she was. And also, people like her a lot more than she thought they did. And those weren't the only important lessons she was learning. As we get back to the story, we read, Ellen also learned it's okay to make mistakes because nobody's perfect.
No.
Ellen had thought before that her whole life was just a big bunch of mistakes and that she wasn't a very good person and no one liked her and all that kind of bad stuff. Well, happily, she is quickly discovering that this isn't true at all.
No.
Not one bit.
And this had a really big and positive effect on Ellen. We read, she felt more confident about herself after that. Well, good, because obviously she should.
And this also helped her think in a much healthier and happier way. The final sentence of our article tells us, what's more, she stopped looking down on herself. Good for you, Ellen. Try to keep that same way of thinking when you face your next set of difficulties.
Yes, and we can all learn something from Ellen's story because we all, at different times in our lives, feel down about ourselves and lose our confidence. That's okay because it happens.
Yeah, but try to see those tough times. They're just part of your life that you're going through right now, and you will come out of them eventually. Things will get better.
Yes, they will.
As the title of our article says, don't look down on yourself. And when things aren't going so well, believe in yourself because we know that there are lots of people around you who do. So be well, take care of yourself and the people around you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't look down on yourself.
Ellen didn't understand. Her speech wasn't perfect, and she pointed out the mistakes to her teacher. In response, her teacher pointed out everything right about her speech. That surprised Ellen. It also made her see herself in a different way. That day, she realized some things. Before, she thought her classmates didn't like her, but they actually did. Ellen also learned it's okay to make mistakes because nobody's perfect. She felt more confident about herself after that. What's more, she stopped looking down on herself.
Welcome to my very special home. This is Nara Park. Isn't it beautiful? This park is also one of the oldest parks in Japan. It's almost 700 years old. All of my family lives here in this park. There are lots of temples in this park. The Totaiji Temple in the park is one of the oldest temples in Japan. The first deer came here hundreds of years ago. People say a god came here on a white deer 400 years ago. After that, no one was allowed to hurt a deer. Now there are almost 1,200 deer in the park. A lot of people think there are too many of us now. We are very friendly to people. Being with lots of people is normal for us. We are even happier when they bring us crackers to eat. Please visit and bring plenty of crackers.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 又到我们1分钟的单元咯。那我们今天用1分钟的时间来复习单字，同学们您都准备好没？好，1分钟计时开始。第二单字是完美的，完美的怎么说？叫做 perfect。Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes from time to time. 没有人是完美的，我们所有的人偶尔都会犯错嘛。第二单字呢，它可以指惊喜、惊讶，也可以当动词来表达使什么惊讶。这字叫什么 ？Surprise！Surprise！ 好，我们要用动词来造句。The election results surprised everyone. 选举结果让所有的人都很惊讶。第三单字它可以表达领悟到、明白、了解、意识到，这字叫做 realize。Realize. He finally realized that friendship is more important than money. 他终于了解到友谊比金钱还重要。第四单字是形容自信的、有信心的，这字叫做 confident。Confident.Mia became more confident in herself. Mia 变得更有自信的，对自己更有信心了。好，太好啦！我们在1分钟之内已经复习完单字咯。同学们要对自己有信心哦。我们继续练习就会变得更棒。那下次见了，拜拜。
See you next time.